Hey everybody, Mike Shoesmith here. This is an article somebody sent me today, dated Tuesday, January 21st. So they're ahead of us here. Well, it's England, so England is 6 hours ahead of the American East Coast. The title of the article in the Telegraph is "Smoking Increases Chances of Child Being Gay in Adulthood," controversial study claims. A neuroscientist has claimed a woman's lifestyle during pregnancy is directly linked to the development of their children, influencing whether they may be gay and having an impact on their IQ. Picture of a pregnant woman holding a lit cigarette there. Women who smoke or lead a stressful life during their pregnancy can influence their child's sexuality and IQ. A neuroscientist has claimed a pregnant woman's lifestyle is believed to have an impact on the development of their babies, with drinking, taking drugs, and even living in an area with a lot of pollution affecting children in later life. Dick Schwab, professor of neurobiology at Amsterdam University, suggests drinking and taking drugs can lower a child's IQ, while taking synthetic hormones and smoking can increase a likelihood of girls being lesbians or bisexual. He says something odd about having more brothers. Having more older brothers is also thought to increase the chance that boys will be gay. I don't know who's thinking that, but I've got something very interesting to contribute to the science here in just a moment. Pre-birth exposure to both nicotine and amphetamines increases the chance of lesbian daughters, Schwab told the Sunday Times. He says pregnant women suffering from stress. Now keep that in mind. Keep these factors in mind here. Drinking, smoking, stress. Pregnant women suffering from stress are also more likely to have homosexual children of both genders because their raised level of stress hormone, cortisol, affects the production of fetal sex hormones. He said the brain in fetuses begins to develop at 2 weeks, with anything that introduces toxins into the body having an impact on development. Studies show women who took synthetic estrogen between 39 and 60 reduced the chance of miscarriage, had a greater chance of bisexuality. And he says, he ends it with, Schwab said lifestyle factors are just one influence, with genetics playing the most important role, but said the research proves that the development of the brain during pregnancy is directly linked to adult lifestyles. I'm going to call nonsense on this. He says here, genetics plays the most important role. I wonder if this man is actually a homosexual. There is no genetic link to homosexuality, folks. There has never been one. They haven't found one. A man who chooses to have sex with men is no more different genetically than a man who chooses to have sex with women. And when it comes to sexuality, there's only two kinds of people in the world. Those who are having sex and those who are not having sex. And who you choose to do it with is your choice. But look at this here. I want to show you guys this. This is from biomedcentral.com. And here is their findings page on that. It says here, evidence suggests an increased risk of smoking among single mothers as compared to their cohabitating counterparts. The article examines the role of psychosocial stress. Remember, smoking and stress, factors in whether or not a child becomes gay or not, and mediating the relationship between single motherhood and smoking. Data were derived from a cross-sectional population-based sample of German women, and they measured stress levels, parenting-related stressors. According to Baron Kenny, a series of logistic regression models was applied to investigate this role of psychosocial stress as a mediator on the relationship between single motherhood and smoking. And then the results, 44% of single mothers smoked daily, whereas only 26% of cohabitating married mothers did. Single mothers reported more stress related to their economic situation, occupation, and family than partnered mothers. Out of the original 13 stressors, only conflicts with the partner or ex-partner and financial worries remain significant in explaining single mothers' higher risk of smoking. Against expectations, stress due to household requirements and family demands was associated with lower odds of single mothers smoking. After controlling the psychosocial stress, the odds ratio for single mothers moderate smoking decreased. Okay, what does all this mean? What does all this mean? Well, let me show you the conclusion here. It can be stated that single mothers heavy, more than moderate smoking appeared to be mediated by perceived psychosocial stress. Out of all the stressors considered, financial worries were of a paramount significance in explaining single mothers' heavy smoking. Overall, a higher stress exposure explains partly but not sufficiently single mothers' increased smoking rate. So they're linking single motherhood to stress, smoking, all of this stuff, single motherhood. If that hasn't convinced you, here's another article from the BBC News. Lone parents on low incomes more likely to smoke and less likely to be able to give up, according to a new report. A report published by the Health Education Authority showed evidence of a direct link between social deprivation and smoking. And they're linking it to single mothers. Single mothers. All right. Well, what in the world does that have to do with anything, you might say? We have shown time after time after time after time after time after time, from Rock Hudson to Elton John to Dan Savage to Nathan Lane to all of these famous homosexual people with their private lives exposed to the world on Wikipedia and wherever. We have done a tremendous amount of research to show that these men were either never knew their fathers or had poor father figures in their lives. We have shown this time and time, and Barney Frank, the list is so long that this is a direct correlation between absentee fathers, fathers who have checked out of the picture, and boys becoming homosexuals. This has nothing to do. These women are smoking because they're under tremendous stress because they're single. The science is backing this up. The science backs it up. Women are that, and now this neuroscientist says women who smoke and or lead a stressful life during their pregnancy can influence their child's sexuality and IQ. That's this neuroscientist has discovered this. And we've been saying this for a long time, because the link to this is published in biomedcentral.com. And the BBC News is reporting this. It's a single mother issue. It's a where's the father issue. That's the issue here, folks. The issue is not looking for a genetic link to this. The issue is bring dads back into the family picture here. That's the issue here. All these doctors and public personalities making excuses after excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse for dads abandoning their families. Make it enough with the excuses already. Enough with the excuses. The problem here is, where's the dad? Where's the dad? That's the issue here. That's the problem. The problem here is the father has exited the scene here. When fathers start staying with their families, returning to their families, staying with their families, instead of knocking up these women and taking off, and women allowing this to happen to them. Now I know that there are societal issues here that cause women to have these mindsets that they're not valuable enough to wait until they're married and then hang on to this man who will contribute to a family unit, I know that women have issues with that. I know that. I've been in the slums. I know that there are societal and financial problems here that lead to psychosocial stress. I get that. I do. But it's been allowed by a society which has turned its head, turned a blind eye to the problem of fathers not being involved. There's not enough people out there decrying the actions of men and the fact that women allow this to happen to them. If we're going to combat this at all, it has to be done on the male-female relationship. The male-female relationship. Men have to be brought back into the children's lives. And only then will we see a reversal in AIDS. 2/3 of all new AIDS cases every year are the result of men having sex with men. That's why it's an abomination to God. Not because God is some cosmic killjoy up in heaven saying, "Thou shalt not," because I don't want you to have fun in life. Or I don't want you to love the man. God is saying it's not love for men to have sex with each other. That is not love. God is saying, I want the fathers back into the family unit so that I can heal you and heal this psychosocial stress in your life. God's plan is for a man and a woman to become one flesh and live together in unity in a family unit. And we have abandoned that design dynamic. And this is the result of it. This is the result of it. The more we look at this, the more we examine this, the more we see that the science backs it up. My name is Mike Shoesmith. Thank you for watching.